Hey, midday shave today. Got to working last night and kind of wasn't able to do it. Today's brush, 1305 from Semogue. And it has been soaking because I thought that I was going to shave last night. It's actually been soaking for about 14 hours. And so if just an average room temperature soak helps a boar brush to break in, which it may, then we may have done some significant break-in progress. All right, we have put the soap sample into the lather bowl, and the one we're using today, I've got 3 more Mystic Water soaps to sample, and this is the first of 3, Poggio dei Pini, if I'm pronouncing that right, if I'm guessing right. And it's very mild from the bag, which does not spell a good forecast for a medium scented soap. All right, it's got an Italian name, so it must have some Italian type scents in it. The blade I'm going to use is my Nacet that I've been using. We're cruising to 120. Hey, when I finish my Mystic Water sampler here, that'll be 120 uses, because I have 17 uses now. 18, 19, 20, yeah. 117 uses on this Nacet. Then I'm going to pause with the Nacet and enjoy some of my other more mild razors. Those can't handle this smoothed blade, and so we'll just put a pause on the Marathon. Of course, I've got to put the Nacet inside, about the only razor in my repertoire, in my den, that can shave well with it. It's just got the geometry. It's not super aggressive. It's just got the magic geometry that happens to work well with my face and this blade. All right, rinse my face. I'll tell you this. The reason I'm doing a midday shave, which is atypical, is because this blade in its age is kind of rough when you're doing a 2-day shave. So instead of waiting for tonight when it would have been 2 days of growth, now it's a 1.5 day, and so that should be a little nicer on my face on the first pass than if I would have waited later. All right, we got some water on there, kind of resting, and so letting my hair soften just a bit. And I think we're ready to go ahead and start building lather. And one thing, when you do put a sample in there, try not to let any loose chunks just kind of hang around or be easily knocked loose. Because if those start floating around in your lather instead of sticking to the bottom, then they're never going to become part of your lather, because they're not going to have an agitating action against them, because they're moving instead of the brush maybe over them. So a little tip for you. I had one really crumbly soap one time, shaking most of the water out of the brush here. This is a boar brush, so it did need to be soaked, but this one soaked excessively, and it was already nice to begin with. These Semogues, this is the 1305, which is compatible with the 830, very popular, shorter brush. It has a short handle, plastic or acrylic handle, red and white. Great little brush for face latherers, but with me in the bowl, that short handle just gets super slippery. Same bristles, longer handle. So that's why I have this guy. I was saying something, but I can't remember what it was. Sorry. Again, one of the key with Mystic Water soaps is coming at the soap in this process with only a damp brush, not really a lot of water, because it'll really generate bubbly quickly, and it'll be hard to recover from it. And so get that paste going first, and then start adding water. It's really the only trick. I think a lot of people just like to come at soaps with wet brushes, and a lot of soaps work just fine with that. But this one, maybe not quite so much, and so they just leave it on the wayside, tout it as a horrible soap, but It's super slick, really, really nice base. So I am on the hunt. I'm past purchasing all these samples of kind of masculine sounding fragrances, ones that piqued my interest, to see if I can find. I've already got one or two that I like from them, but to see if I can find some others, because it's just such a good soap base. It's so slick and it's inexpensive. You can buy the refills for just like $11 or something. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and add a full teaspoon, because I know it's going to take probably 4 to 4.5 teaspoons, because that's what matches the 1/4 teaspoon of soap that I put in. One of these days I'll start putting in a little bit less soap if I can remember in time, but I keep forgetting. But actually sometimes that's it's just a thirsty soap. It needs a lot of water. But no, that's right. I'm fine, because I usually end up with 1 or 2 extra passes, and 1 extra pass is really kind of where I would ideally be when all is done with the shave. I mean, that's a glorious looking early thick lather. All right, so we're going to add the whole thing there. I'm going to refill again, and I'm going to add. So now I've just put 3 teaspoons in there, and if I do slowly, maybe not stir up quite as much air and bubbles, then that can help that water to join up. I can start stirring faster once I see it start joining together. Yeah, see, I did it slow, and so it did not rise up into a bubbly mess. I'm going to put all but just a little bit in, so we've almost got 4 teaspoons in it. It's a nice scent, but I can't smell it from right here. Nothing's coming up to my nose. That's usually a sign it's just going to be too weak. That's all right. I mean, it's a good base. I mean, obviously I won't order this particular scent. Just a little too weak for me. But if you can't handle, if your skin doesn't like strong scents, or if you just that's just your preference, then I'll tell you what, Mystic Water is going to be a gold mine for you. A lot of their scents are really on the low-key side. Yeah, that's really nice. Too bad. Mystic Water is one of those soaps that I often, that I like elastic lathers with, where it's a long drawn out glob, if you will. So we're just going to keep mixing this and integrate the soap and water together. Make it all even. We'll see where we stand. That's a good sign right there. It feels light. It's got a sheen on it. I don't know if having a sheen is a plus, minus, or neutral attribute for a soap. A lot of people say that they like that. Sure, it's pretty, but whether it makes a soap perform better, I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm happy with this. It feels nice and light. The peaks are kind of falling on each other. Look at that. Yeah, there we go. All right. I'm glad I did not add that last little bit in. Okay, now also, a fine-tuning bit that you can do if you think you've mixed it maybe a little too wet, or you know that that's the range, that you're in that area of the range, then when you, like I'm about to do, splash your face with water before the shave. Don't leave any standing drops on there to help out the lather. If it's really thin, then dry your face with a towel. Oh man, this brush feels great. Super soft. And here's the thing, this is like a $13 brush, and it feels terrific. Just a little bit of break-in and feeling great. And it's going to get softer and softer as time goes on. There we go. Sheraton, 118th shave now. It's definitely getting a little bit more rough than it used to be. I used to be able to pull down like that and it just wouldn't really irritate or pull at all. But now we're old, you know, and it is starting to pull a little bit. It's not uncomfortable to me, but it is starting to do that. I did get a whiff just now of the lather. Maybe it's just whenever you're bent down or something like that. My neck hair goes sideways. So here is a with the grain movement, and here is cross grain. I usually shave just about everything cross grain on my neck. And I'll do that for pretty much all 3 passes. Nice glide this soap has given me. All right, so I didn't get a super creamy rinse feel from that, but that's just fine. Doesn't, especially on the first pass. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way, but I'm glad I made sure there weren't any standing drops on the face. You know, this board is so nice that I love my badgers. But even if my badgers just dropped off of the face of the earth, I would be happy shaving with boards like this for the rest of my life. It's just very comfortable and a good feel. It's like you establish a connection to the brush when you train it. I don't know, maybe that's just me. The first pass actually was a little smoother than I thought it would be. It was slightly tuggy, but I thought it would be a lot more. Especially with these open combs, once you get that first pass knocked down, you can shave quite a bit without having to go back and rinse your razor. And rinse my face. All right, loaded up my brush again from the, well, I didn't really get rid of most of the water. There's still some in my goatee here. Hopefully that doesn't dilute my lather. Yeah, I can smell it when I'm using it, but very minimal. It's a nice scent. It's probably got a little bit of a hint of some kind of citrus in there, just some warm spices. It's just a good average masculine scent. I like it. I just wish it was stronger. All right, third pass. So it is detectable during the shave. I kind of thought it might not even be that, but I was wrong. Very nice glide. Really good slick skin I have now, and nice residual slickness, which means that even after several seconds have passed, the skin still has a good bit of lubrication just in it because of the soap, and that's really nice to keep you protected as you're doing touch-ups and things like that. All right, third pass. I want to do my little trouble area here, and then let's just put a little more on there. And the grain of the hair is kind of going this way. And so usually I come at it kind of from this angle, and that's a cross grain with a slight against the grain aspect. This time I'm going to do it kind of from the bottom and see if that can help me get a nice close shave. With a blade this old, eventually you do have to be very careful with your technique. In a way, it's a great learning experience because then it can help you get your best shaves quicker. Once you learn techniques like this that work for your face, then when you put a young blade in there, you may discover you could save a pass if you wanted to because you're just shaving so much better, more efficiently. And rinse. And sure enough, that little touch up there with those directional changes coming up from the bottom, just being very careful. It was more comfortable today than it was yesterday. I believe I softened the angle just a touch, but it still had an against the grain aspect to it, but it was just more gentle, and that seemed to be the ticket. Sometimes you just got a little tricky spots where the hairs turn and go. You just have to try every angle you can, and then with each angle you can turn your head a little bit so that you're shaving at kind of a slant or a slice, and so that can definitely be of help sometimes. All right, well, let's stick my nose in this soap. You know, I wouldn't mind using this soap for the rest of my, if I was stranded on a desert island, because the scent is pleasant. You do get it very lightly during the shave, but it is very, very light. I wish it was maybe a little stronger, but you know, when I put my nose in it, it's nice. So I'd say maybe a 3 or 4 out of 10 in terms of scent strength. What it is. I usually shave at night, and today, right now, it's in the middle of the day. So whatever balm I use, my wife's gonna get a hint of it, and I'm gonna pick one that she really likes. Executive Man from Stirling. It's a scent duplicate of Creed Aventus, which is popular and for good reason. Sometimes I put a little too much and my face is all white because of the extra lotion, but just leave it and it'll soak in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. All right, I'm gonna clean up. The brush did amazing. This is a terrific feeling brush right now. And I'm sure as this one dries, these tips are gonna just keep splitting. It'll be very nice. Here's how the 1305 looks after stropping it on a towel for a little while, expanding nicely. We're good. All right, cleaning up. How much water did I use? A little bit less than 4 teaspoons. Looks like 3 3/4 for that. Yeah, I believe it was almost exactly 1/4 teaspoon of soap because I did kind of press it in there and then remove the excess. Well, there we go. Excellent shave. Really happy with that one. I didn't have to work very hard to get this extra stuff off, to get it cut nice and flush. I don't even see any tips, any length on any tips there in this trouble area of mine. So really happy with that. So just a simple figuring out the right angles and directions to come on that touch-up pass was a secret to saving me a lot of work toward the end of the shave with this particular blade. So really happy about that. Man, this Executive Man, it's all coming up. It blends well because the soap wasn't very strong, but really nice. Happy about this whole shave. Very cool for 118 uses. Hope this helps you in some way. You take care. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Good night.